Over and over on this channel, we declare that the Walt Disney Company is making big mistakes. And yet, in the past few months, the Walt Disney Company stock has gone up. So how can that be? Is the Pro Channel wrong? Are all of our guests that we have on here absolutely insane? Or does it match up with what we've been saying for more than a year? Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel. It is a joy, as always, to have you here with us. I am joined today, as we endeavor to explain entertainment, by Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for ThatParkPlace.com and co-anchor of That Park Place, the YouTube channel. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, so good to be here, and glad to be talking about the stock price of the Disney company. And of course, no financial advice is given on this channel.
No, none at all, folks. If you want financial advice, find a financial advisor in your area who is trusted, reputable, credentialed, and all of those other important things. Today, however, we are looking at the fact that the stock for Disney has gone up somewhat. Let's remember, though, as we talk about this, to put it in perspective. The Disney stock at one point tickled $200 per share under Bob Chapek. Today, as we are recording, it's usually hovering around $110, and that is up marginally from being below $100 just a few months ago. But we have been saying on this channel now, Jonas, for more than a year, that there is something that happens when there is a proxy battle. And that thing that happens is that stock goes up because in a proxy battle, people are vying to purchase as much stock as they can to gain control of the company. And therefore, that inflates the stock value. Now, I want to take a look at this article out of Deadline and see how that's being reported. And you have a very fascinating story that is just breaking. It's a bit in the weeds, but folks, you don't want to go anywhere because that's the kind of content you come to this channel to find out. This article from Deadline by Dade Hayes, Disney shares extend recent gains as company renews attacks on activist investor Nelson Peltz, coming out several days ago. Here's what it says. Disney shares were up 2% at midday on Monday, extending their recent rally as the company renewed its attacks on activist investor Nelson Peltz. And a video posted to VoteDisney.com, starting to sound political, isn't it, folks? Criticizing Peltz and his firm, Trian Fund Management, Disney said the investor's pursuit of board seats for himself and ex-Disney CFO Jay Rasulo seems more about vanity than a belief in Disney. And first of all, Jonas, I want to say that is some sort of cult-like religious statement.
Oh my, yes. One man's vanity is okay and another man's is not, apparently.
Well, this idea of belief in Disney, that's the kind of language you hear in a faith-based conversation. It's not what you hear in a company's exaltation for why you should not support another candidate for a board seat.
Right.
They don't believe in us. That's craziness.
Yes. Well, let's talk about, it seems more about vanity than a belief in Procter & Gamble or Mega Corporation 3.
Can you imagine? We can't give this seat for Home Depot to this individual because he's not a believer in Home Depot. Like, what? What are you talking about, man?
And
Church of Disney over here.
Yeah, as we often like to point out here, Bob Iger seems more interested in the IP holdings of the Disney company than he does in the actual brands of Disney. So if it were any other corporation, Comcast has a nice delineation here. They say they are a giant cable company that also owns Universal. And that seems like a good differentiation there, where everything needs to be Disney. Therefore, everything, well, then Disney means nothing, essentially.
So another paragraph into this Deadline article says, Disney stock hit $112.76 with 2 hours left in the trading day. It has rebounded significantly since touching multi-year lows last fall, rising almost 25% in 2024 to date. And again, folks, there are a huge number of entities buying Disney stock to gain control because, again, as we've said in the past, this proxy battle is about more than business. This proxy battle is really about ground zero of the culture war. This is where the elites are spending their money to gain control of what is going to be propagated and promulgated to children all over North America for their future ethics, because that's what they want to do. They want to embed values, either conservative, moderate, or liberal, into the children's stories of tomorrow. And Disney right now is headed by folks who want to make that very, very a woke future indeed. But it says here that the high came near 190 in 2021 under Bob Chapek. My recollection, Jonas, is it was about 198 at one point. Maybe it didn't close at 198 at the end of the day, but I believe I saw it hit 198.
Pretty close to 200, yes. And good for Bob Chapek. It's a funny thing to watch people go back and forth on this. When it's the guy they like, they give full credit to the stock price. When it's the guy they don't like, they say, it was just the market. It's
exactly.
It's hilarious to take the temperature there, not based on how close you are to the boiler.
Now, Jonas, because and I can only assume that as we watch the ways in which Disney and their allies are attacking Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo, I can only assume that they believe now that there is a solid chance that they'll get board seats. And I can only presume that for whatever reason that is lost on me, honestly, that they fear that to such a degree that they're willing to play this as if it's a presidential election. That's the kind of dirty politicking that we're seeing. You have quite a story that you've picked up regarding one major scooper out there in Hollywood who has less than kind things to say about Nelson Peltz. I was curious if you could walk us through that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a guy. His name is Matt Bellany, and he usually has pretty good analysis on what's going on in the industry. His strike commentary seemed to be pretty sound for the most part, and he likes to talk about. He left. I want to say maybe the Hollywood Reporter. Doesn't matter. He left a big trade and helped to found Puck, PUCK News. And he does the thing called What I'm Hearing. And on Thursday, he released something that intimated that Nelson Peltz plagiarized his proxy statement, his 130-page proxy statement.
Which we have said is a tour de force of pure excellence in showing the data behind Disney's mismanagement.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to digging into Disney's white paper.
So how is it possible, Jonas, for someone to plagiarize brand new information that we've never seen before?
Well, the fascinating thing is looking. They pull back to another white paper that another company put out. This one was prepared by Elliott Management, which is another activist investor, and it says restoring the castle. So they're saying that restoring the magic is obviously stealing from restoring the castle. Also pointing out that the formatting looks similar, and all I have to say is, if that is all you got on its
wait a minute, Jonas. What is restore the castle? I mean, what is it?
It's some kind of activist investor came in, and I forgive me, I've had a lot of white papers to read over the last.
So this is not related to Disney, right?
No, it's not. It's some kind of other entity.
So Peltz literally could not plagiarize this and have anything to do with Disney.
No, it has zero.
Okay.
This is the whole thing I'm trying to get at.
So the plagiarizing claim
is
down
a 50-page white paper, and the other one is a 130-page white paper. The plagiarism charge here seems to be down to the fact that the formatting is similar. And I'll say that if I turn in a paper that is MLS formatted or APA formatted, and another person turns in a paper that is also APA formatted, that is not plagiarism. That is formatting.
So then what's behind this then?
It could be that a similar team use this same template. And when I say template, I mean visual template. Or it might be the fact that it could be the fact that they used a similar consulting firm in order to prepare this white paper. There's a million reasons why the formatting does not matter. What actually matters, and what Disney themselves seems to be avoiding here, is that the content of the white paper is the issue, not the formatting of the spaces and the bar lines and the templates and things like that. We are talking about the facts of the matter, not the template under which you present that information.
So on the pro show that we just did earlier this week, we went into great detail on the Disney white paper, which is their response to Nelson Peltz. But Jonas, I find it fascinating that we are still, to this day, avoiding the substance of what Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo laid out. And I'm also fascinated by the fact that the Disney white papers have confirmed what we've been saying. I don't understand any of the strategy behind this, other than apparently Nelson Peltz and his crew, they believe that shareholders are going to look at data And Bob Iger and his crew believe that shareholders are going to look at emotional arguments. That's I think what this comes down to. And then mixed in with that is this faulty belief that the Disney stock price is reflective of the Disney company and its future, when in fact we all know that proxy battles increase stock prices as people attempt to gain more shares.
Yes, absolutely. In the same way that you would never say that Bitcoin going up in price is an indication of everyone's belief in crypto. That would be oversimplifying the matter. Bitcoin goes up and down based on market sentiment in general, not actual verifiable statistics.
Right. And so and it's volatile. And so when a company enters into a proxy battle, I mean it's supply and demand. It's very simple to understand what happens with stocks that are being pressured by proxy forces. And that is that you have okay, let's imagine for a moment. Let's enter the hypothetical. Let's say that there's someone out there who is a multi-billionaire friend of Nelson Peltz and is attempting to buy Disney stock. When that individual starts buying huge sums of stock, it's going to increase the overall stock value as the purchase points of those stock, each one of those stock units increases over time.
Hmm.
And we're seeing that now from huge swaths. I mean, we've got multiple, whether or not they're real, in terms of their actual intent, we have multiple activist investors now jumping into this. And oftentimes they are funded by hugely political and ideological forces that want to influence our society heavily. And they've all chosen Disney apparently as the place to do so. Jonas, final thoughts on this, and how much uglier is it going to get before we get to the final vote?
Well, there seems to be a lot of escalation right now. So I didn't think we would get to the growly voiced political attack ad level of fight here. But if Disney wants to play dirty and try to make sure that they do this headline thinking, even when talking about financial matters, just not just creative things like we've got the first princess who happens to be disabled in this specific way or something like that. When they do it on financial matters, that's when the grown-ups need to enter the room and point out some of the holes in what they're saying. And Disney is really dropping the ball on data first, truthful statements about their company. It's very frustrating, but I'm glad that there are outlets out there that will kick the tires a little bit on it for them.
Well, they're not acting like grown-ups. The way that they have acted towards Jay Rasulo is unbecoming of the company. Pure, I mean, just totally. And I'll say this, we joke about Bob Iger here on this channel, two shower Bob and pet the hippo Bob and all that. We do that because while we're here to educate and to keep people ahead of the culture curve, we're also innately entertaining. But documents and arguments for the board from a C-suite should not be entertaining. They should be 100% focused on shareholder return. And some of these attacks have gone beyond the pale in terms of the way that they have gone emotionally after people like Jay Rasulo. It's just not where a major corporation should be in defending itself and its protocols and procedures. But
Profoundly unserious people.
that is exactly right. And folks, again, we recommend you go check out the Pro Show from earlier this week. It is out there until Friday at midnight. We go majorly into the white paper response from Disney as well as some other stuff, including Shades of Green, the military hotel, where this is a company run by very unserious people. We'll talk about all of that. Make sure you go listen to the show. All right, folks, that's it for today. Make sure you check out Jonas J. Campbell on That Park Place, the YouTube channel. Bookmark thatparkplace.com. And folks, before you head out the door, like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell. Share this out on your favorite social media accounts and drop a comment down below. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.